Era para
That's better.
Y te dice, vale, esto está mejor.
Next. And that's the best.
Y dice, este es el que me gusta.
Now, all of this was to show on a little view screen in the conference room for 1 second when Spock was explaining what happened to the people of Talos 4. Yeah, that was it. Very, very quick. Okay, again on the Anderson stage, again with the big filming model. This is for the second pilot, so it says Star Trek #2. But that's coming up later.
I won't say.
John, just press right or left. Okay, now again, Gene Roddenberry, very particular. This is the matte painting of the Rigel 7 Fortress that was done by Albert Whitlock, who's an Academy Award-winning matte painter. Gene felt it didn't look alien enough, old enough. Go ahead. Okay, so Gene felt that it didn't look old enough, that the moon wasn't interesting enough, that there wasn't enough happening over here, there wasn't enough happening here, so he asked Albert to make it look better. Okay, so go to the next slide. Okay, now, the building looks older, the moon is more interesting, there's now stalagmites in the water, there's more happening here, just to make it look more old, more alien. Okay, so go back one. John, there you go, and then forward one. So you can see the difference. Okay, then one more. No, one more forward. There you go. That's the final matte painting. Okay, next. Jeffrey, this is again the same episode where No Man's Gone Before. You can see the Talos 4 background behind, right? Because they were filming on the same stage. But they just built this much for the dilithium cracking station. The Delta Vega station. And if you look closely, that is not William Shatner, and that is not Sally Kellerman. They're just stand-ins. Okay, next slide. There's the finished scene cut in, right? And the rest is a matte painting. It's a matte painting that they used again about 9 episodes later, but changed. Next. Okay, a very early Nichelle Nichols, also in a gold uniform. But now we're in episode 3, which is the Corbomite maneuver, and Sulu is finally in gold. Next. And this is Baylock's marker boy, his cube, that threatened the ship in the Corbomite maneuver, but it looks like a child's toy. Next. Fred Phillips cutting Leonard's hair, and that's not normal for the makeup artist. Normally the hairstylist does the hair and the makeup artist does the makeup, but because Spock's look had to be so perfect, he did both his makeup and his hair. They wanted Leonard to sign it. Next. Okay, this is as naked as William Shatner ever got on the show, and this is the special effect where there should be 2 Kirks. But there's only one because they haven't burnt in the other one yet. Next. Okay, in Miri, the episode Miri, this is John, who is played by Michael J. Pollard. And the 2 young boys are the sons of Grace Lee Whitney. But we didn't see this scene. The scene was cut. Next. This man is the camera assistant who does the clapboard. And we call him Smiley because he never smiled. Who played the creature in the episode Galileo 7. Yeah, he was about 7 feet tall. Next. There he is. This is Shore Leave. Yeah, Shore Leave, episode number 17. You can see that on the clapboard. Next. This is in the universe between the universes, the corridor between the universes, the alternative factor, and neither of them is Robert Brown. It's just 2 stuntmen fighting it out as the 2 Lazaruses from that episode. There's the same camera assistant.
Sonrisas en Amortain.
Episode 34. Next. And this is the Changeling with Nomad, and Nomad is about to come out across the top and then down. Okay. Here, same from The Apple, right?
El episodio de The Apple, la manzana.
Do you know who this actor is?
¿Sabéis qué actor es este que está apuntando?
A very, very young David Soul
Dice un David Soul muy joven.
from Starsky and Hutch. Next. I love this photograph.
Dice que le encanta esta foto.
It's DeForest Kelley waiting for action in bread and circuses with the sound,
DeForest
the
Kelley.
camera, the lights.
Esperando que le den la acción en Bread and Circuses Magnífico.
Yeah, it's a great picture.
Es
Next.
muy bonito porque por la iluminación y por todo lo que será.
Go ahead, John. Okay, the same map painting
Yes.
that we saw before, now without the towers. Otherwise, it's the
Este es
same.
el dibujo.
And this was for Dagger of the Mind.
Para
Yeah. Okay, somebody must have been having a birthday. Next. The scene from Journey to Babel. You never saw this in the episode because the shot was straight across them to where the shuttlecraft had come in, and you see Sarek and Amanda and the other Vulcans getting out and coming towards them while they're talking. You never saw a close-up. So this was filmed but never used. So they only used the master shot, where Spock was trying to teach the Vulcan salute to DeForest Kelley. Now I was in England with DeForest Kelley on the tube, the underground, and some Englishman was sitting there reading the newspaper, and he looked up at DeForest and looked down, and then looked back up, and he closed his newspaper and he said, "Are you really?" And DeForest went like this. And I said to Dee, "I didn't think you could do that." He said, "I've always been able to do that. Shatner's the one who can't do it." The ambassador's box from Is There Truth No Beauty getting dusted. And two of the children from the episode, And the Children Shall Lead. Next. The lollipops.
con un chupa chup.
Do you know why? He was always sucking on lollipops.
Tiene que ser un fan de Kojak.
So he wouldn't smoke on the set. Now, DeForest Kelley always smoked on the set. And there's a scene in Journey to Babel where Sarek is on the medical bed, and he has the clamshell over him, and McCoy is inside operating, and you see smoke coming out. And it wasn't because he was cauterizing something, it's because he had a cigarette in an ashtray on his chest. Journey to Babel.
And then,
Next. Okay, I just like this shot. Bill and Michelle and Dee. Next. I don't know who she is. None of the three of them were blonde. Look at Michelle.
mira la escena y cosas que pinta yo.
Yeah. Second season, everybody except George, who was in Georgia with John Wayne filming the Green Berets. Leonard in his office with his assistant Teresa Victor, who was with him for 27 years, I believe, and his record album, Mr. Spock's Music from Under Surface. Yeah. Next. This is Bill in the car that was only seen very briefly in an advertisement in a magazine in Bread and Circuses with the Romans. When he and Spock were in the cave with the sun worshippers, that's when he was reading the magazine and he saw the ad. The car was called the Reactor. Next. Another shot on the old Desilu backlot. Okay, now these are just some favorite photos.
Esas son fotos favoritas que le gustan mucho.
Next. Because I just did Leonard's last convention with him. Next. That's my favorite photo. I have two favorite photos of my collection for 45 years. This is one of my two things. This is the 11.5-foot model currently in the Smithsonian. Next.
Que está en el Museo de Smithsonian.
This is on the set with Gene and his executive assistant, Susan, and myself. Next. And this is up at Griffith Observatory at Begley Jr.
Ed Begley Jr.
Guest starred in Voyager, 2 episodes. And my friend Andy Bray, who is the young Chekhov from the online New Voyages. We were taking a group of fans around the observatory, and Ed joined us. They were Star Trek fans, and he signed autographs. Next. This is the Buena Park Wax Museum Enterprise or Star Trek bridge set with myself and my friend Dario from Germany standing on the set. Okay, me with two of my favorite people, Susie Flaxen, who was KLR, and Michael Dorn. My makeup artist, Ron Pipes.
Ron Pipes.
I've known him over 20 years. And that's not a Romulan, but still. Ron is a Star Trek fan. He asked me to do that. So. That's from 1966. This is from 2008. Next. The first time that Leonard Nimoy and Zachary Quinto did a convention together. And the three of us, my hair is now growing back in. This is the scene that I was in. I was a Romulan science tech. And here they're pulling the bead of red matter out. This is an article in Star Trek Magazine. It says it right there. And it's Eric Bana, Clifton Collins, and God knows why, but me. I was very lucky. That photo was well lit, so they used it several times. Okay, at William Shatner's Hollywood Charity Horse Show, JJ bought a table for Bill's charity, and Alex Kurtzman and Clifton Collins and Bruce Greenwood and John Cho and JJ and Zachary Quinto, Carl Urban, Robert Orsi, Chris Pine, and Leonard all came to the horse show. This was from William Shatner's documentary, The Captains. There! Yeah. Now, it was a very emotional weekend for Leonard because he seriously is retiring from public appearance. So he flew to the convention, his wife, his 2 children, it was his son and his daughter, their wife and husband, and the grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. 17 people. There were 8 grandchildren.
8 nietos y un bisnieto.
Right, and 1 and the great-grandchild, Charlie, is 3 years old.
El bisnieto tiene 3 años y se llama Charlie.
So, for Leonard, it was a very important weekend. He spent a lot of time with his whole family, including 1 person from his generation. And they went to museums and took tours and had meals. And, he only had to work a few hours, so it was kind of sad. Okay, let's have the lights up.